All right. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. It is August 25th, Tuesday, August 25th, 2020. And today is the first day we're going to talk about the contractor perspective. And this morning, we're going to cover a topic that is very near and dear to my heart. And it is the industry blueprint of the construction industry and kind of how that impacts people's perspective in our industry. Let's get started.
It is ultimately important for you to look at your goals, truly what you want to do in your life, and then look at the people who you spend the most time with in your life and figure out if that lines up.
All right. What's happening, guys? Good morning to you. Good morning, Jared and Tammy and everybody else that's on the stream that I can't see who you are just yet. If you leave a comment, I can see who you are. But I wanted to kick off this week with the contractor perspective, and I wanted to talk about kind of what I believe is the foundation of, a contractor's perspective, or, kind of where things come from when you're working in the construction industry with regard to, how you work in your company, how you lead your company, how you kind of do anything is going to be influenced by a couple of things. I believe that we are all influenced by, I believe there's kind of three blueprints that we are influenced by. And that would be, first and foremost, your personal blueprint, which is, kind of how you were raised and, what values were instilled in you as you were growing up, those kinds of things. I think the second one you're influenced by is your professional blueprint. And that is, maybe the first place that you worked or the first couple of places that you worked, the people that left a lasting imprint on you as a leader that you worked for or were in an organization with. And last but not least, I think that I would guess that every industry has this, but I'm going to specifically talk about the construction industry, or as a contractor, how this works. And you guys can relate it to your own fields for those that aren't in construction. But I think that there's an industry blueprint, right? And so if we talk about that industry blueprint, what does that look like from a contractor perspective or in the construction industry? And so there's a couple of things that are, expected almost of construction workers or people in the construction industry. And, it is the construction industry is kind of behind the times in a lot of ways in the realm of employee development, training, all those kinds of things. Most companies in the construction industry are not as advanced as those that might be in technology or something like that, to use those examples. But there's a lot of other blueprints. And, I don't know if Valerie Ector will watch this stream or not. But if you guys know Valerie and you want to tag her in this stream, Valerie does an excellent job. If you guys aren't following her, her last name is ECHTER. She uses hashtag asphalt gal Val as her tagline. But she does an excellent job of trying to break this industry blueprint. And that is, that industry blueprint of, feeling the need to be a certain way. So feeling the need to be tough and be able to take things and to, not complain and kind of, always taking that old school approach, which is, really, really well known and a pretty consistent thing in the construction industry, right? It kind of has that, just go do your job and do what you're supposed to do, that old school kind of feel in a lot of ways. And so, that industry blueprint can drive people away from an industry that is a really great industry to work in. And so one of the things that I want to do throughout my career in the construction industry is to kind of change that, right? To work with people like Valerie, to do shows like this one that kind of just talk about that, right? Where, people don't have to feel a certain way. It was a few months ago, Valerie introduced me to someone in the industry who is on the board of the National Suicide Awareness for Construction Workers. And I was surprised that such a thing existed until I was educated on it. And I was educated to realize that construction work is literally one of the highest suicide rates for a profession that there is. And that didn't surprise me when I learned it, because of taking it back to this industry blueprint, this idea that, if you're really struggling or something's wrong, or, you're not feeling right, that in the construction industry, you may work at a place, or you may work around people that lead you to want to hide that, right? That you may not want to share that. And so I would challenge you guys to think about that, whether you're in the construction industry or whether you're in a different industry, to think about your own industry blueprint, right? And think about what that looks like, and how you and your company and the people that are around you, how you could change that for the better. And, that is really what evolution of an industry is all about. It's about, number one, talking about the things that a lot of people don't want to talk about. And then it's about, once you talk about those things, taking some action to get some people involved that can really make a difference. And then, once you get connected to those people, really making an effort and staying committed to it over the long haul of really, really trying to make an impact and make a change. And that change starts with, the people in the industry, right? And so you have to start by, first and foremost, listening. And if you don't take the time to listen, and the only thing that you do is basically listen to respond, not listen to understand, then you're not really going to understand fully what's going on around you. You're not going to be able to understand some of the things that are going on that might be considered a blueprint or a standard in your industry. And you're certainly not going to be able to understand how to unwire those things and maybe rewire them in a different way that makes a huge impact on people. And so I want you guys to think about that industry blueprint and what that means for individuals, and how they carry that industry blueprint with them on a day-to-day basis, how they carry that industry blueprint back into their homes with their spouses and their children, and how different it could be if we were able to make an impact on that on a large scale, where that idea of, you have to be tough because you're in construction, or, things are just done a certain way. One of the things that I have, tried to do since I came into the construction industry was not ever to do things just the way that they've always been done. And I've taken some criticism for that, right? There's a lot of people in the industry that like things to stay exactly the way that they were. And that is not a healthy way to think. It's not a healthy thing to have in your industry. And it is, something that hopefully over a period of time, we can create a community that really embraces that change, really embraces the advancement of technology in an industry, the culture piece of having companies in the construction industry that really focus heavily on people, and how do we create a culture that's magnetic, that people want to work in, and that people feel appreciated and respected, and all of those things. And I think that when you all think about how things have always been in the construction industry, that you're going to see what I'm talking about with regard to this blueprint, if you will, or the way that things have always been. And so what I would challenge you guys to kind of do today is to think about, if you run a company, to think about how that blueprint is maybe woven into what you do, how you're leading your company based on the way that things have always been, or the way that the industry expects you to, versus really taking a 30,000 foot view and not really thinking about, how things have always been, but really how things should be, how you want them to be. What is the vision that you have for yourself, for your people, for the families that you're responsible for as a business owner, or even the families that you're responsible for if you're an employee, you're still responsible for those other families and those other people that are in the organization that you work for, because every single person in the organization is making an impact on those around them. And so you have a choice to either lift all of the boats with a high tide, or in some cases, you can be the person that drains all the water and exposes all the rocks. And, that is a significant choice that you have to make every day as to how you're going to influence those people around you. Are you going to spend every day intentionally trying to make a positive impact? Or are you going to spend every day trying to look for everything that's wrong and focusing on those things? Because that is another thing that is somewhat woven into the construction industry. There's especially on the field side or the operations side, we tend to search high and low for those things that are wrong, as opposed to, really focusing on those things that are right. And listen, the one thing that you have to understand about construction, it's a very unique industry in that, we're impacted by things that other industries aren't. We're impacted by weather. We have a ton of equipment breakdowns. We have a lot of challenges in those areas that other places don't have to deal with, right? And so it's a very interesting dynamic of what we have to deal with in construction. And so that has created, over a period of, 40, 50, 100 years, it has created this blueprint that we all exist under today. And so when we consciously think about that blueprint, though, we can make a choice to change that. We can, again, first and foremost, start talking about these things. The idea of mental health in our industry is something that is always in the back of my mind these days, since I learned, the statistics on suicide and mental health in the construction industry. And it's something that, I think, again, because of the blueprint in our industry, that it's a blue collar industry, and it's a bunch of tough guys that are out there, getting a job done, tough guys and girls. And, I think that it's something that needs to be talked about. And I think that, as a group, as an industry, we need to take ownership of what that looks like, what it really looks like, and look in the mirror and tell ourselves the truth about where we're at. And, in a matter of a year or 2 years, we could have a completely different industry if we're just real about kind of where things are and where we want to take it to. And so as you go into this Tuesday, I want you guys to think through that process of what is inside of your company, what is woven into your company, what is woven into your day-to-day, that is just the way that it's always been, right? Well, that we just do that because that's just the way that we do it, or that's the way that it's always been done. And so one of the things that we try to do at the Pavement Group is always to, not to just intentionally try to break the mold, but to always be looking with a crystal clear set of glasses that do not get, they don't get blurred by the past. They don't get blurred by what everybody expects us to do or the way that we are supposed to function. We don't think that way, and we are trying to do everything that we can to innovate at every twist and turn that we can to make a better customer experience, to really, focus on customer service, to really take things to a new level. If you were to go out and poll customers about construction companies, because I've done this many times on social media, I've put a post out asking people what their opinions are of contractors. The blueprint you would get back from that would not be very positive. And it is because we continue to repeat the same history over and over and over again. Companies don't focus on the things that other companies in the world are evolving into, which is a high level of customer service, a higher level of transparency. Every single thing that we can do to change the industry impacts that blueprint, and it makes it different, and it makes people see our industry different by the actions that we take and by the things that we put out there. And so I want you guys to think about that as you go into this Tuesday. Write those things down and, start to think of ways that you can change that in your company, how you can make an impact, how you can, and then what that impact will mean for other people. I think about that all the time, the changes that we make in our company, how does it impact all the way down to, Trisha's on here? How does it impact Trisha's children if we can improve the way that Trisha has to do things? We're in the process right now of implementing some new software and some new technologies into our business. And those things are going to take a lot off of Trisha's plate. And that is the goal, is to take as many things off of people's plates as we can, so they can have a more enjoyable work experience and they can have a more enjoyable life, which in turn means that their children are going to have a more enjoyable life with a mom that's more present and more energized at the end of the day because she's had to do less grueling work. And those things come from, again, challenging the blueprint, thinking about how we can do it, taking these software solutions that are somewhere else. And, maybe people look at them as they're not for the construction industry. And then, jamming those in and taking the time to learn how to use those so that we can ultimately impact the employee experience, the employee satisfaction that we have. And then ultimately, we're going to impact the customer satisfaction at the same time, right? So think about that. Think about the list. Think about the things that you can do as an individual, the things that you can search out. And if you're working at a place that all of your ideas, don't get heard, then that would be a challenging thing for you to think of, right? Am I in the right bus? Am I in the right seat and on the right bus? Or do my values and the company values that I work for not necessarily line up? And that's a big thing for me too. When I look at the people that we are looking to bring into our organization, the employees that we have long-term, the teammates that we have long-term, and who we want to spend our time with. We want to spend time with people that share our same vision and values, right? That believe the same things as we do, because ultimately the only way that we're going to be successful is to have customers and employees that are on the same page as us. And believe me, I've had plenty of customers in my day that didn't believe the same things that we did as a company. And when we had those customers, it was always a struggle, right? It was always just, a difficult process to get on the same page, to find a rhythm with those customers. And the same goes for employees, right? So you have to get a team built that really believes the same thing, that has a singular vision that's pushing in the same direction, that ultimately believes in the same blueprint, right? If we want to tie it all together here, it's believing in that same blueprint that you want to create for your company, that hopefully trickles over into the industry, that you can set an example for others to follow. And that is really important to us as a company. And I think it's a really important conversation for our industry. And so I'm going to have some people on this show that are experts in this particular area. So I'm going to have the gentleman on. I'm going to invite him onto the show that handles the suicide awareness for the construction industry, because I want you guys to understand how serious some of the problems are that are out there in the industry, and how creating companies that are forward thinking, that are culture-based companies and really caring about people, that's how we change the industry blueprint forever, that we leave a lasting impact on an industry that provides for so many, right? If you look at the construction industry as a whole, I didn't look it up this morning how many people actually work in the construction industry, but it is a massive, massive section of the American economy. And so when we think about impacting the industry blueprint of the construction industry, what does that mean, on a larger scale? And what kind of impact does that have on the world around us? So I hope it was that was a helpful conversation. I hope it got your mind going, and I hope that it changed a little bit of your perspective on how you look at our industry, or got you thinking. That's the idea today. And so in the coming weeks here, we'll continue to expand on this topic. We'll bring on the experts that can kind of shed a little bit more light and have meaningful conversation about this. But that's the idea here, is to kind of take these micro topics that are in each bucket of what I said yesterday that we would be covering here on Morning Perspective, and really expand on those and have meaningful conversations with people that can help educate you, pull the curtain back, and show you what's really going on, and share their own stories and share their own experiences outside of just what I can bring you on a day-to-day basis. So with that said, wishing you guys an amazing Tuesday. I hope you guys have an awesome day and an awesome rest of the week. And I will see you again tomorrow morning, 7:30 a.m. right here, same place, same time on Morning Perspective. Love you guys.
It is ultimately important for you to look at your goals, truly what you want to do in your life, and then look at the people who you spend the most time with in your life and figure out if that lines up.